Hi class. So this video is to encourage you to resist the impulse to immediately jump onto the internet and start looking at what other people say as soon as you think about a topic. I think that's one of the weakest things that you can do as an essayist, because typically when that happens, you become so influenced by what you see that it guides your future ideas. It limits the amount of thinking that you might come up with, and it tends to lead you towards things that other people have said rather than thinking up your own creative approaches to a topic. So what I'm going to do here is kind of quickly go through the process of just thinking through something that seems fairly basic and looking at a lot of different ways that I might approach this idea. So I come up with this idea, the automobile. And a really basic question is the convenience of a car worth the price? So then I could go immediately onto Google or Yahoo or Bing or whatever and type in car, price, convenience, those kinds of things. And I'm sure we would come up with lots of information about what cars cost and that kind of stuff. But instead of doing that, I'm going to just think about, okay, well, what am I really asking here when I say, is the convenience of a car worth the price? What am I asking? And so I'm going to go and I'm going to redefine that question and say, okay, is the convenience of my car worth the costs that are involved in having that car? And what do I mean by costs? Well, I can mean monetary costs. I can mean environmental costs. I could mean more abstractly cultural costs. So then I'm going to start thinking about, well, what do I really mean by all of those things? So here's my redefined question. What does my drive to work cost? Myself, my city, my country, and my world. And I can think about it from lots of different angles. I can think about the cost of gas, so the price, and the consequences of sending money to oil-producing countries. The cost of roads. There's monetary costs that are involved in making roads and keeping those roads up, but there's also definitely environmental costs that come with roads and having to put them across our landscape. There are the costs of an accident, the odds of an accident, the change of cars to be safer and more dangerous to others, how we change those cars. The cost of taxes. So we pay taxes to be able to have cars, to maintain police, to maintain roads, to have police to enforce our laws. The cost to the environment. Not just the materials that we pull out of the ground to create those cars, but also the pollution that comes with our cars. And lastly, the cultural costs. And as I said, this is the most abstract of all of these, but cars have a cultural cost to us. If you think about before cars versus after cars, cars can be isolating. We all sit in them by ourselves. We have this belief in the right of convenience, that we have a right to have a car. We have a right to these kinds of things, and what kind of assumptions come with those kinds of rights. So as you can see, just sitting down and brainstorming for a while, I came up with lots of different ideas that could lead to really interesting paper topics. And now I would start to think about, okay, well, which ones of these are the most interesting to me? And then I could start to go and look at what others might have said about these topics. But basic message, most important thing, the thing I really want to encourage you, before you get on Google, before you start researching, sit down and think through your idea by yourself.